I think the difference between generations that we're talking about is the way we communicate.
Oh yeah. Hey Shaun.
Hi Maria.
We are back.
We're back.
We're a little happier this week.
It was nice just
not as much drama going on in my house. How about yours?
I feel a lot calmer.
Yeah, because you guys went on a trip.
We did. We took a trip together. We were able to talk and communicate. And I think just spending time one-on-one.
That actually really, really helps. I don't even think you need to go on a trip, but obviously it's a plus. It's a bonus, right? If you can go on a trip with your kid, wherever, have some alone time.
Road trip.
Road trip, definitely, because you can't walk away. You're in a car and you can just talk about everything and anything, right?
Normally my daughter falls asleep in the car, and this road trip, she was present. Good. And I loved it. We had great conversations and just connected, and I feel like we needed that.
It's therapy?
It is totally therapeutic. Oh my God.
Do you think her therapy, she started therapy, right?
She started therapy, but I'm still trying to find a new therapist.
Oh, okay. So I'm just thinking, so you think if that was if that helped. I mean, but I think you haven't really started therapy, right?
What she did, but I also think that like just her and I just spending quality time together.
I think both needed that.
We needed it so badly. Yeah.
You know what? I think it's that last year of grammar school. That's your junior high, right? We call it like middle school.
Middle school.
And then that last year when you're transitioning, going into high school. I remember with my kids, each of them, even though they all have different personalities, somehow there's always something going on that makes that year just more challenging, more dramatic, more everything, because I think they're just going into this different chapter in their life, and it's being a little kid to now somewhat being an adult with more responsibilities.
Having responsibilities and
expectation, right? If they're putting that expectations on them to themselves, I think. But we don't help either.
Is that seriously, Maria, that long weekend we had together was amazing.
Good.
It changed everything. Our communication style, our
trip really
makes a difference.
Because I told you when we went on our family trip.
Exactly.
Last year,
it helped you so much.
It was the dinners, and I've said it many times. It was the dinners, and I look forward to the dinners because we've never really had that anymore because of different schedules. Everybody's got a practice here or a job here or different things going on. But during vacation, you get to sit down and catch up and talk about everything.
And just talk and just let it flow naturally.
And so those were the good old days back then. When we
good old days.
Well, how you saw when we were younger, what you saw on the TV, the shows, everybody sit down together at dinner time and blah, blah, blah. We don't really see that anymore.
And literally TV time, like we only had like 5 channels.
Back then, yeah.
And it's like you would like hone in and watch like, whatever show you can and just enjoy it.
And whoever is not lazy enough to get up to turn
to
change the channel. Like, no, I've been doing it like your turn. No, right? And it's always the youngest. No, you got the person with the most energy is the one that has to was me because I'm the young one.
Closer to the TV.
And they tell you, Ken, we'll ruin your eyes. Get back. Right.
There wasn't a remote control where you could just do this.
Actually, we're just talking about Shaun's trip, but really it's leading into what we really want to talk about today. And we thought about this, that Shaun and I were thinking, we should really talk about this whole topic of Gen Z versus Gen X. We're Gen X, right? Parents, and our kids are Gen Zs.
Which means we were born in a totally different generation.
Totally different generation, totally different everything. Yeah, so but no, technically, according to Google, the years that you would consider yourself a Gen X is if you were born between 1965 to 1980. That's your Gen X. And then the Gen Z kids are born between 2005 and 2012. All my kids fall in that.
My daughter falls in that, and it's Completely different. We're talking bicycles to Uber.
I mean, well, nobody did that. Anybody pick me up on the bike? No, we're talking. Let's go back.
Okay.
Taxis.
Taxis versus Uber. Oh my goodness.
Because Uber took away jobs for cab drivers. Remember when Uber came along, right? So it was, remember the hailing of the taxi?
Hey, taxi! Versus calling an Uber.
Everybody, those were the days when you're just hailing.
And when we say calling, we're even talking phones. There was no cell phone.
Oh gosh, no.
There was pay phones, and we've talked about this, like having a phone where you actually had to push buttons.
Right. Or no, not even push buttons. You have to turn the dial. Rotary. Imagine if you're in a rush. You're like, shh, wait. No, so going back, that's like we're jumping ahead. But basically, Gen X, like we were raised with independence. Pretty much, you're on your own. Figure it out.
No, seriously.
No, seriously. Nobody was there to guide us, really. We just learn on our own, and you live and learn.
100%. I mean, seriously, I remember coming home from school with a note on the back of my shirt. That was communication. That was like, instead of like teacher sending you an email, the email was on the back of my shirt.
Teacher put that on you?
Yes. What kind of school? Yes. And it was like a pen note on the back of your shirt, so your parents remembered to like know if you did something.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't have that?
No.
Oh, I totally
had the nuns though. But this is like the nuns in the Philippines where I started. Because I didn't have nuns here at the Catholic school, but in the Philippines, it was like, if somebody messes up, the whole class messes up, and then everybody put your hands out and
even like it was acceptable to be slapped. Now you can't even touch your kid.
Oh gosh, we're jumping ahead again. So us, we have to have independence. We have independence. Then we have delayed gratification. We never get everything right away. We have to work for it, or find it on our own, or figure it out on our own.
Absolutely.
Right. There's encyclopedias.
Encyclopedias. I don't even know.
Do some research. Some people
Google,
don't know what an encyclopedia is.
Encyclopedia.
Google is like right there, right? Yeah. So we have to go to the library. If you don't own your own set of encyclopedias, you go to the library and then you go to the reference section.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Doing the research. Literally.
And you have to write down the exact where you.
When they say take notes, it's not copy and paste.
No.
It's like you literally had to write things down.
Yes. And then analog, we were raised with analog versus the digital smart devices that we have now, right?
Absolutely.
And this is the fun part when we were looking over, like, what are the analog stuff we have? And then boom. That was analog.
Walkman. Portable cassettes.
I loved my Walkman.
I love making a cassette tape.
It messed up my hearing though, because I had the last thing.
A good cassette tape. Remember?
Oh yeah, I had so much of them. But cassette tapes really taught us patience. Though.
Lots of patience. I think that's the difference, is patience.
Well, because we don't have a thing where you can just slide the thing where if you want something to be played or whatever, the cassette you press and you miss that.
Pause. The radio. The radio. You listen to something on a radio station, and
I wasn't done with cassette tapes yet. I was just saying, it's like you pause and then you fast forward, and then you miss that part. Then you have to rewind, and then you miss that part. Wait a minute, and then when you want to record something, that's the certain part. It's just
it was hard.
It was patience.
It was worth it.
Okay, now move on. Now what were you saying?
No, I was just the exact same thing you were saying.
You were saying about the radio.
Oh no, when you
want to record something from the radio. Oh yes, but you're like, oh my god, my favorite song.
Love that song.
And then you're like, oh, I missed the beginning. It's always the beginning. I missed the beginning. I wish I could get the whole thing. Now, obviously,
you can just download something.
Download, right? Where's the other list? That
I got it. Hold on.
And then it was just so much. It was just like we're laughing about it, and like, wow, it's like obviously the vinyl records.
Oh my gosh,
nothing sounds like listening to a vinyl record.
Record players,
with the actual vinyl.
Going to a record store.
Yes, and picking through it.
Oh
like the
my gosh, I loved going to a good record store.
No one else. I'm sorry. But then you have the big ones, and then you have the 45s too. It's like the little.
Yes.
I own so much of that, and then you moved on to the CD players and stuff. But
VHS. Who knows what a VHS is?
Well, VHS, and then you move on to like the CDs.
The CDs.
Yeah, but then you have the rotary dial phones. We were saying about that. Is that crazy though? It's like it's so slow. You have to wait for it to go all the way around before you dial to the next number. Instead of oh my gosh.
Yeah, but this is what we need to like really like. How can we relate to our children when they don't even understand what we went through?
And they wonder why we're the way we are. They have it so easy. Everything's just no wonder it's called smart devices for a reason. That's why it's called that. Because
back in our day, we thought that was smart,
but we still have to think, right? We tell the device what to do, but now the device is telling us
what to do. Oh, that's kind of scary.
That's why it's called a smart device.
Oh my gosh!
Then AI is here, and then AI is just going to take over everything.
I'm really scared about AI. Seriously.
And then well, I'm not a gamer. But I do remember I loved playing my Centipede and Space Invaders, and the early game consoles are so different from how it is now.
Well, and it's going to an arcade and like just sitting in front of your.
That was a hangout in itself.
Oh,
right?
It was awesome! An arcade. Yeah. Now you can just sit.
They ate up your quarters, so you had to go there with so much quarters.
That's another thing. You needed money.
Yeah.
Now you don't need money.
Which is the world is going into digital everything, and then what else is there?
So much.
Landline. Obviously, we're talking about landline phones. Obviously, with that cord, it's not wireless. And then AM, FM radios. Now
AM, FM.
But now we have Pandora and everything else. If you want to listen to music, you know where to go instead of having to wait for your song to come on the radio.
But how do we raise our kids?
Oh my God.
Understanding their world and our world, and like trying to raise them.
I don't know. Give them a movie have them watch one of our movies. But honestly, my girls, even my son, they go back and watch movies from our time. We have the best.
They're called classics.
We have the best.
Why are they classics?
Rom-com movies, because there's no such thing as actual how we dated back then to how.
Oh my gosh, dating. Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. We had the best rom-com movies, and it's sweet, and how the guy treats the girl and all that stuff. Now it's like, how do you date? It's all through an app.
Can I tell you something, Maria, that I just remembered? When I was in high school, it was so romantic. I had a bunch of guys come to my window and serenade me.
What was the occasion?
It was Christmas Eve. And I had a bunch of guys come to my window and they serenaded me, and then they took me to midnight mass.
It was just Christmas Eve?
It was just Christmas Eve, sweet. And they took me to midnight mass.
Aww.
Nowadays, you probably get a text.
Oh, yeah. I've never had someone serenade me. I just had guys would come and they would visit and come with the flower thing.
But today, you'll just get a text.
Then some of them will ghost you. That's what I've heard. It's like
even a breakup,
they won't even break up the right way.
It'll be a text.
Isn't it? Gosh, that's like reminded me of the episode in Sex and the City, like when someone breaking up through a Post-it.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. I got broken up by a Post-it.
Like a Post-it, but a text.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I have to confess, I did date a millennial, and he broke up with me via a text. Ugh. Who does that?
Apparently, you're millennial.
Okay.
Not all millennials obviously is like that, but
are you sure?
I don't know. I'm just being nice. I don't want to generalize, but I'm sure
communication is different.
Yeah.
Gen Z, Gen X communication was it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, but as far as when it's finishing up the analog versus digital, I remember how I used to rely so much on a fax machine.
A fax machine. And
That's everything to me. But when it comes to like documents and business stuff and all that, now it's like you scan
exactly.
Scan it, send it
Scan
through your
it.
phone, or you can digital sign stuff on your phone. The digital sign, boom, like real estate, all that stuff, right?
Oh my goodness! Like who scans anymore?
It's like the fax.
Who faxes?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It was a big deal to have a pocket fax machine at home.
That was technology,
right? Anyway,
we're trying to raise being a parent, trying to raise a child, and we are just like huge different generations. I think we need to learn how to. We need to learn how to communicate their way, or do they? Do we need to have them communicate?
We have to meet halfway. I think obviously we have to adapt and adjust to everything that's happening. We have to move forward regardless, or you're going to be left behind. It's always going to, everything, the technology is going to keep moving and moving and moving. And that's why they have classes now for seniors. How do you even use smartphones and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? Because not everybody, there's always coming up with new stuff all the time.
I have an example. So my daughter is obviously going to high school. And so you have to like order the books online and do this online.
But I gave you books.
I know you gave me books. But the books I didn't need, I was like seriously going, how do I figure out
how to
order them? Like
she would have to.
No, the teachers are like, you need to go online, you need to do this. Where back in the day, they gave you books.
Actually, it's through her.
I figured it out.
Yeah, it's
through another little freshman.
Girl, if your daughter read the direction, it's through her email and password.
She doesn't. I do everything. I'm that mom. I need to stop.
No. You need to have her look at, because even my son, because when I asked him, hey, do I need to order your books? And like when I come home from work, let's order your books. And he's like, Mom, why don't we can go through it through my email and my Chromebook. It's just easier that way instead of you having to log in, blah, blah, blah. I said, so basically he's just like, just give me your card and boom, it's right there.
When you were little,
what?
You didn't have to do all that.
Ordering books? No, you go to the school and buy the book. And you had to carry all these books.
My daughter's like, do I need a backpack?
Remember going to I think the school had a bookstore, and you had to go get the books, and then you grab all their books, and then you come home and you have to bring, it's like so heavy. And
yeah.
So now everything's delivered to you. Like I said, instant gratification. Everything's so much easier for everybody, right? And then you ask, like, how do you teach? Well, the only way is we have to learn the new technology, but it's nice to actually show our kids what we had for them to appreciate why we are the way we are. And so maybe that's a good understanding, because I've noticed with I think I was texting with my middle child about things that she's going through. And I think from me explaining, like, I have anxiety too. This is how I dealt with it. My mom dealt with it. It's generational and blah, blah, blah. And then now she totally understands why I am the way I am when I freak out about stuff, when there's stuff coming up and I'm being anxious. And now, as before, she would kind of like say something sarcastic and it'll throw me off and make me mad. But now she knows what to say. She's like, I understand, Mom. Don't freak out, please. I just know. And it's so, and then it helps
communication.
It helps me calm down.
Okay. So on our trip, me and my daughter, we went to Kingman, and my phone died, and I didn't bring a charger.
I would freak out. You didn't bring a charger either.
Not that I can plug into my car.
Oh, you need that.
Okay, so.
But you didn't need it for like GPS or anything, did you?
Well, that's what I was using it for. I was using it for GPS. And so the phone died. We were only like maybe 10 minutes away from our destination.
But she has a phone.
But my daughter, because she's 14, doesn't use GPS. Where is she going?
Oh, but does she have the app on her phone?
Well, she didn't. Well, now she does.
But first of all, you need to be somewhere where you can download the app, because if you don't have good signal, you
and
can't download.
that is exactly. We were in the middle of nowhere,
and you can't download.
And I started freaking out. I was nervous, and I had anxiety.
Yeah.
My daughter was the calm one. She's like, "Don't worry, Mom.
See?
It's gonna be okay."
It's gonna be okay.
I was like, "Wow, where did this come from?" Like,
well, yeah, because you're in mommy mode and you want everything to be fine. You want to protect, and you want to be safe, and you want to make sure everything is fine. But you said something there that's like the whole, there's no signals. So how can you even download something? Blah, blah, blah. See, this is why we still need to have a map regardless. I don't think a lot of people knows how to read a map. So
exactly right.
I had to learn it for my job way back when I had to go out on the field. So I had to figure out the zip code and the addresses through the map. So
everyone had a map in their glove compartment.
And now everybody's so used to the map on their phone, but stuff like that happens when you don't have signal, you don't have juice on your phone. It's low battery, right? And what do I do now?
The big thing, map versus digital.
That's why they need to learn. I was like trying to teach my kids how to, like, we're north, south, east, west. Do you know what direction is that?
No, seriously. Okay, living here in Arizona, I'm not really familiar with north, south, east, west. But in California, I know where the sun sets and I know where the sun rises.
Yes, like same thing with Chicago. I know where the lake. The lake is where the sun rises.
Sense of direction.
That's east. That's where east is. Yes. But here, I'm thinking.
Do you know your directions?
Yeah, because I know Scottsdale's that way. That's north.
Oh, she knows Scottsdale.
Scottsdale's north. Mexico south.
See, I don't know that. I don't know that.
Mexico south. Tucson south. So
I don't know my sense of direction here.
Gosh. Yeah, so you kind of need so when you get on the freeway, you kind of have to learn, like, because it's some of these.
I just know where I'm going.
Like a 202 loop.
There's a 202
101
north and there's a 202 south.
That's what I'm saying. You need to know what.
There's a 202 east and there's a 202 west. That confuses me.
Yes. It's just a big loop. I think the east is by you.
The east is by me.
The east,
I know that.
Yeah. And the west is obviously going towards.
Yeah, but there's a south and a north.
The south is over there, just going towards, obviously, but south is why I said going towards Tucson.
No.
Okay, Shaun, assignment for you. To go look at the map tonight.
I'm going to get a real map and put it in my glove compartment.
And you're probably going to have someone say it out loud. Shaun, now north is going, but we'd like to explain how the map is, right? So it's kind of teaching you that.
But can your children read a map?
Well, as I was saying, I don't think they're that good, but I think they do, because when we were traveling in Europe, they learned. Okay. They learned when we were trying to figure out where to walk to what. They started. I had to say, put the app, read it to me, so you know what we're doing. At least when we're taking the subway or we're doing this, it's like knowing what direction we're going. So they got to experience that.
Okay. Traveling helps with sense of direction.
Yes. And communication, obviously.
Communication.
But a parent said that to me when I was in Chicago, when my kids were still small, and her kids were obviously about a few years older than mine. And every summer they'd go on road trips. And she said, you know why we love it so much? She goes, Maria, it is the best time to kind of catch up and really communicate with your kids and learn what's going on. And it's just good for the soul, so good for, it's a mental thing. And it is. Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
So road trips are are really.
It's back to old school.
Yeah.
You actually have to talk to each other and not text each other.
Exactly. Right. Well, that's why I loved it when we were in Europe. I mean, obviously you don't have to go to Europe, but the fact that, we're in a different country, we all have to rely on each other. We don't know anyone there. It was good.
It brings you back to having to communicate. I think the difference between generations that we're talking about is the way we communicate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Payphones.
Yeah, versus
Texting.
payphone, smartphone. Yeah, FaceTiming. I remember when I watched the movie Blade Runner, and I thought that was really cool. And it's like, oh, you could see somebody's face when you're talking, and blah blah blah. And here we are.
And here we are.
FaceTime.
It's really real.
Just, oh my gosh! But I figured, we're going to be talking more in depth about like this whole thing with the Gen X, Gen Z. But this is just like an intro as far as like
how parents and children need to learn how to understand, like, we are different generations and
what we have and what we were dealt with as compared to what they have right now.
The things that I did in my generation are certain things I would not let my daughter do in this generation.
On that note, we'll end it right there.
Independence.
Until we meet again, we will talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed today's segment, and communicate with your kids and travel.
And just remember, it's a different time for all of us. We need to learn how to just, I think, relate and just remember it's different.
We all need to remember because it's just so easy to be, because we're shaped how we were shaped back then with everything that we had, right?
Yeah.
That's what we talked about, like different devices that we had. It's what we were used to, and compared to how they are. So that's why we argue, because we're so used to and then we expect our kids to know, but they don't think the same way because
arguing, it was not acceptable when we were little.
No.
Now they just challenge us.
No, it's because their Gen Zs and beyond are used to having to be able to express how they feel, and that should be acceptable. You need to express, even though sometimes they don't understand. Expressing sometimes can be disrespectful. They don't know how to do it the right way.
Yes.
The way we want it, we want to hear.
The keyword here.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see you guys again. And please like and subscribe, Maria and Shaun.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.